Hello indie game fans! June 2019 had some of my favorite indie games being released in Steam Early Access, but as always, let's begin with some quick picks worth checking out. Project Arrhythmia is a bullet hell avoid 'em up with a fantastic look, awesome soundtrack, and pixel-perfect action and control required. I love games like this, where the hazards are generated according to the beat, and this even has a level generator built in. Pixel Noir is a detective noir turn-based RPG with supernatural elements as you play a detective haunted by the events from 10 years ago that cost him his partner's life, his job, and his sanity. Impressive pixel art, which I'm a fan of, but it seems like there's still a ways to go with development. Dungeon Munchies is a roguelite platformer which is very much like Battle Chef Brigade, only without the cooking show portion, where you hunt down monsters and cook dishes which empower your character. There is also weapon crafting from enemy parts, so it has quite a compelling loop.
Barotrauma is a cooperative multiplayer submarine simulator in space. It's a game of teamwork, creative choices, and crisis management.
Barotrauma is primarily a multiplayer survival game where you and a crew try to maintain a submarine in order to explore the ocean on Jupiter's moon. Work together to maintain the systems of the submarine, but as is the case with co-op, multiplayer-focused games, player count, trolling, and griefing are issues which the developer more or less leave up to the people who run the server, so your experience may vary.
Crew and its many onboard systems. Work with your team, think strategically, and be prepared to adapt as your situation changes.
Aquaculture Land is a fishery management game where you build ponds, place equipment, and hire staff to breed and grow commercial fish for sale. This is a nice change of pace from the more traditional farming games and is pretty well done. Excited to play more of this once it launches in 1.0. Moving on, here are the top 5 best early access indie games for June 2019. Heroine Anthem 02, Scars of Memories, is a gorgeous, hand-drawn action platformer that continues the story from the first game released in 2016. I still can't get over how good this game looks, and the gameplay systems, from new skills from leveling up, puzzles, crafting, cooking, passive abilities from equipment, and even a companion in combat are all pretty great. Very interesting mythology that it draws from as well, especially Taiwanese tribal legends, so it feels quite unique in that sense. Over the next 3 to 7 months, the developers will finish up the story, which comes with more areas, enemies, chapters, and so on, but it is pretty hefty in its current state, with 7 chapters and 10 areas to explore.
I say, oops, they're growing.
Mixing the RTS and RPG genres, It Stares Back is another game which attempts to push the envelope on the RTS genre and is one which I quite like. A simplified RTS, mainly about territory control, I love the art and the glitchy aesthetics, with a somewhat mysterious narrative about the player character and what you are trying to accomplish. Early access is planned for 12 months, with more story chapters to be added, but what is in the game thus far is pretty polished. I have a soft spot for tycoon games since I simply like building something and watch the people mill about. So Overcrowd, a Commute Em Up, is perfect for this. Build your own subway stations and optimize in order to get people moving as efficiently as possible. In contrast to other tycoon games, systems are a little more micro-scale here, since you can even determine the direction of travel on escalators, staircases, and fare gates, so kudos on the uniqueness of the theme. One thing which I especially like about this game is that there is a procedural campaign mode which generates increasingly difficult stations to manage, which provides that replayability, and it's neat to see such systems coming into tycoon games. Over the next 5 months or so, more items, features, and systems are to be added to the simulation. A.N.N.E was kickstarted way back in May 2013, so to say that the early access release is a long time coming might be an understatement. A pixel art Metroidvania crossed with a shoot 'em up, this again has really got me with the look alone. It is supposed to be complete within the next 6 months, with areas 4, 5, and the ending to be added, which is not ideal for a Metroidvania, but I suppose that there are financial reasons for doing so. Littlewood is a relaxing farming and town building game where you can go about collecting resources, farming, completing little objectives, and designing your entire town. Set in a world that has already been saved from an evil, dark wizard, you are the hero that saved the day, but unfortunately, you have a case of amnesia. Typical. This plays similarly to other games in the genre, as you run about gathering weeds, catching bugs, fishing, farming, chopping trees, and mining rocks, with simple crafting and cooking activities as well. There's no battling or dungeon crawling required, because all the monsters have already been vanquished, plus the time of day is tied to your energy meter, making the entire play experience completely peaceful and stress-free. Early access is planned for 2 months, with more seasonal events, townsfolk dialogue, a monster card game, and even something called the Grand Library, and thus far the developer is doing a great job with weekly updates. The idyllic nature of the gameplay is pure bliss to me, hence it takes the #1 spot of the month. For more of the best indie games, do check out the previous video or click on the recommended playlist, and I will see you after the jump.